at my dad's office place. My parents were very permissive in this way. I mean, they always supported me. Now that I look back, it was a bit weird that people that were more grown up coming up to the office like 20 years old, and I was like just a kid. But I'm really glad my parents let me do these LAN parties and stuff. And
that's great.
And you know, like before, UT was really popular as Valorant now, for example. So all my friends played UT. We had like hundreds of players in my city. So it was like a very big community, you know, like
That's
UT,
great.
Quake, and StarCraft were very big, and Counter-Strike, you know. These were the main esports competitive online gaming back then. So it grew, and then I started playing UT99. I went to 2K3, to 2K4, to UT3, to UT4. I played all games when they got released. So I just kept playing while there was activity and tournaments and stuff like that. So yeah, it was in the beginning was like this community. Like I started just for fun, but then I realized that we could compete and go into tournaments and prize and stuff.
That's a great segue into this, because I have two questions. One, we'll talk about the tournaments in just a moment, but first, when did you start to notice that you were good, that you were like better than the other people around you? And how did that feel?
I was never very confident, I must tell you. I thought I was decent at some point. I became playing a lot a game type called Rocket Arena in UT99, and I was like hardcore playing it. I was in that mode. I became the best at some point, but then again, it was Rocket Arena. So and I went to duel, and I couldn't time well, and I couldn't place in the map well. Yeah. So I thought duel was kind of unfair because Rocket Arena was like all the weapons, all the health. I couldn't understand that duel as had this magic and this expertise that you needed to learn. So what I did was starting playing TDM with the best TDM team in Portugal. And then I started playing 2K4 TDM as well, and I grew up my skills, my frag power skills and placement in the map a lot in TDM. And then I became a better player playing a lot of TDM with the best players. And then I kind of pivoted to duel because there were competitions for it more than for TDM, WCG and stuff like that. You know.
So do you find that? So let's phrase the question this way: given the history of what you have played, which game types really lasted with you? Which ones became your favorites, and which ones do you think served you best going into the competitions?
Yeah. So probably I was better at duel. That's what I'm mostly known for. But the game type I like to play more was TDM. Yeah. But I played duel because there were more competitions. There was more. I mean, WCG was duel. You could travel the world. Play kind of. Some tournaments were always mainly duel. You had some TDM tournaments, but it was smaller. You know. So I focused in duel, but it wasn't only. I mean, TDM for me is more fun, but I focused in duel because I wanted to compete and travel and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
understandable. And I think that part of the attraction for audiences with duel is that it's very easy to understand. It's very easy to say, okay, one person versus another person, and it's pure skill. Whereas sometimes with TDM, and I feel similarly. I love TDM. That's my game type. I love it so much. But the hard part about that is that
to watch is
it's hard to watch.
It's not good. 2-on-2 it's okay. 4-on-4 it's kind of unbearable to watch. It's chaos, but it's really fun to play. I mean, it doesn't feel so chaotic when you're playing, but as the esport, I mean, it needs to be good to watch, and duel is the best game type to watch for Arena FPS. If it's Quake or UT, duel is by far the best, and the second best, in my opinion, is 2-on-2 TDM.
Yeah, I think it's duel 2-on-2, and then capture the flag. I think capture the flag is compelling and interesting to watch because there is a more comprehensive objective that people are following.
Of course, but CTF, I also think it's a bit chaotic. If you see what the Epic Games tried, they tried to implement CTF as the main game type because it was a team mode. But then the tournaments they were a bit hard to understand. The same happened with Quake Champions with a mod called Sacrifice, which I played. It's similar to CTF, but you have a soul, a ball, and stuff like that. And they really focused in getting that game type, $1 million tournament for that. But it was pure chaos to watch,
Yeah. So it's really hard to get the observers right to make sure that people are watching and being able to follow the gameplay. It's tough.
That's why duel by far is the best game type to watch for Arena FPS, because Arena FPS is so fast that if it's two people, well, you can at least understand it more. But then again, not many people like to play duel because it's very brutal, and people prefer to rely on teammates and stuff like that.
Oh, you don't got to tell me, man. You don't got to tell me. I have never considered myself that great of a dueler, but the only thing that I have going for me is I am willing to get myself beat down over and over again to get better, and that's it.
But it's hard. It's for a newcomer. It's hard, and it's very punishing. It's a lot easier to play team game types. But then again, everyone likes to watch duel, but not many like to play.
Yeah, the other nice part about team game types in terms of getting new players to stick around is that you can have value in a team and not be the top fragger. If you can stay on top of timings, if your communication is good, if you can, all that kind of stuff is valuable to a team if you know what to do with that information. And so that's the hard part about it. So let's talk a little bit about the tournaments. What was your first tournament, and how did you feel going into it?
It depends what you mean by first tournament, because I started playing many like local Portuguese lands that weren't so big, but I mean they were actually quite big in terms of numbers. We had like 100 people playing just TDM and duel back then. But the mouse, the prize was like a mouse pad, So it's interesting how things change. So I started going to these lands. I wasn't very good, and then I became slowly. Then I started winning Rocket Arena tournaments in LAN, and then I started getting better in duel as well. But I was very deck focused, only played deck like many players. And then I started thinking, okay, I need to start learning other maps.
Yeah,
even though it's very. Face your fears and play your worst map over and over again is the only way to get better, basically. But as a kid, I just wanted to be in the comfort zone, Back then I only played deck and Rocket Arena. That was it. The first tournament is a bit hard because I played many Portuguese lands. But if you ask me, the first big tournament,
international players.
Okay, so the first big tournament was qualifying for WCG in San Francisco in 2004. So there was like a qualifier in Portugal, which had many players, and I wasn't the favorite to win. Okay, so I was there to get top 3, and I would be happy. Because I didn't have experience. I knew the other players were very good, but I knew I had a shot because I played the LAN before and I could play second. So I was like, okay, maybe I can qualify. And then I actually won, and I started representing Portugal in international tournaments since that, which was in 2004, WCG 2004 in San Francisco. Yes.
Okay, yeah. I take it was probably pretty exciting to travel across the world to play video games.
It was a dream. I was 16 years old. I actually was really lucky because you had to be 17 in order to play the UTTK4 tournament. And my birthday was on the 5th of October, and the tournament started on the 6th. So I had my birthday in San Francisco. because of rules, you had to be more than 17 because it was a violent game, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Actually, there were players, I think from Russia or Belarus, that they went there with 16 years old and they didn't play the tournament. So in Russia, they ignored the rules, and then in San Francisco, they couldn't play.
Yeah.
So I was lucky about that. But it was very, very exciting. It was, I'll never forget that. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm going to share a little personal story here. It's funny. We in the North American community were aware of what was going on in Europe at the time. I was a new player. I came a little bit later. I started playing the game in like 2003, 2004. And so UT99 was mostly dead at that point. It was starting to die out as people were switching over to 2K3, 2K4. And I tried out those games, but there was something about 99 that just hooked me, and I had to come back to it and keep playing it. But I had seen all of these frag videos and heard the lore about what was going on in Europe, and the North American TDM style adopted what the Europeans were doing because the Europeans were the stronger competitors. They were the better players in general. Some of our top players maybe were better on one-on-one, but the general community quality was much higher in Europe than it was in North America. So we started to adopt those rules. But as the game started to die out, a lot of that strategy started to fall away as well. And when new players came into the game, it became a lot more free-for-all and a lot more aggressive and a lot more chaotic in our gameplay. And so, and I know DVP is listening in, but he can attest for sure, the North Americans have a much more chaotic style when we play. There's less positioning, less strategy. When it comes to things like strategy and maps, what are some of your favorite maps now, or the ones that lasted, and why? And what about the strategies on those maps appeals to you?
Well, what happened to me was, since I was a player that played all UTs, and not many did so, for example, in UT3, which was the UT that I excelled the most, UT3 was very interesting because you get in the beginning it was supposed to be very big, and it actually had many good players playing it because it was going to be supposedly the next big esports game, and it had deck, UT3, and then you had 2K4 players that didn't really play deck, and then you had UT99 players that were good on deck, but they weren't very good in the other maps. So I became in UT3, I didn't really lose a map in a tournament in deck. For sure that was my best map in that UT, because I had the knowledge from UT99, and I also played UT2K4 on a high level, so I could combine my knowledge of wall dodging and stuff like that in deck. So I was quite lucky that UT3 had deck, and basically it became an advantage because every time I picked deck, I don't remember losing. So it was already 1-0. For UT2K4, maybe my best map were Refinery because it was more closed. Ranking was the most popular. UT99, probably deck as well.
Yeah. Do you favor the larger hit scan maps or tighter close quarters?
No. I am a close combat player.
You're a flak whore, is what you're saying.
more like rocket launcher, imagine. Yeah. What happened was that since I played most of my career with high ping, I needed to adapt in order to be efficient. So projectiles are more efficient with high ping, and we're talking about like 70 ms. Back then, I would get ping draped from people from Holland, France. They had like 16, and I had 60, 70. So it was. So I needed to adapt to like a more projectile based game style. So I became very good with rockets, especially.
Yeah, basically. That's great. How would you describe your gameplay? Do you play more aggressive? Do you play more kiting? How do you play?
Yeah, I'm very aggressive. I'm known for being very aggressive, and people tend to talk about my rockets. I became quite good with rockets in UT3, and then I kind of transported them to UT4, and it worked really well. So I'm really I mean, I wasn't bad with lead scan, but I wasn't anything special. What made me win was my ability to be good in close combat, and have maybe good decision making.
Yeah. Well, let's take a bit of a departure. What are some of the other games that you've played outside of the Unreal series?
Okay, so I played competitively. I played Shootmania.
Okay.
Shootmania was released in 2011, I think. It wasn't a game, honestly, for me, because it was very scan based. Even though I qualified for Electronic Sports World Cup, we got like top 8, I think. In the world, but it was a game that I didn't enjoy much. So I played that tournament in Paris, and then I stopped playing Shootmania in 2012. And then apart from that, I played Quake Live in national Portuguese tournaments. I won a few in local because honestly the level of Quake in Portugal isn't very high. And I wanted to prove myself that I could adapt to a new game and maybe win like a local tournament, knowing that internationally it will be very hard. So I played Quake Live as well, which gave me some really good knowledge to another game that I played. The last game I played competitively, which was Quake Champions, which I went to the Quake World Championship in Dallas in 2017.
Okay. I mean, not competitively then, just casually. Have you tried out some of the other modern esports FPS games, Valorant, Overwatch?
No. I tried Overwatch when it was released, but it didn't appeal me much. But honestly, maybe I didn't give it enough try. And I never played Valorant. Because it doesn't attract me much, because it's not very fast-paced. I mean, it looks better as well, but I never played it, so I can't really speak about it.
Skyrim.
So I played a game called Zonotic as well, that is like a mix of Quake and UT. So I'm like a Arena FPS lover, always been playing that. I like almost every Arena FPS, to be honest.
As out of curiosity, I have thought this for a while now, and maybe this is my naivete, but I feel like the slower games, Counter-Strike into Valorant, but Valorant's faster than Counter-Strike is. And players of those games are starting to get hungry for faster and faster gameplay. Do you think that there is a possibility that Arena FPSs will have a moment again?
I've thought about this, and I thought it was possible when UT4 was about to get released, and with Quake Champions as well. I think ID, Bethesda, did pretty much everything they could to revive Arena FPS. They hosted $1 million tournaments. They came up with a new idea of champions, which worked quite decently. They had matchmaking, they had cosmetic items, and the game still doesn't have a big player base. So honestly, I don't see it being big again, unless a big twist is made. Because I really think I mean, they released Quake Champions in a state that was a very buggy, but I don't think that was the reason it failed. I think it's the genre.
I think the genre has too steep of a learning curve. I think if you don't have a decade plus of experience in Arena FPS, it's so brutal to spawn, die, spawn, die, spawn,
but one of the problems was the lack of matchmaking. Like, imagine, so you open in a UT99 server with a player that with 20 years plus experience, and you get raped, you never launch the game again. Quake Champions had matchmaking. Maybe it didn't work so well, but players from similar level were playing against each other, and it still didn't kick off. So I was quite sad about it, and Diabotical as well. I played Diabotical now that I just tried. I don't know. I think a lot of tries were made with another game called Toxic. It was like UTTK4. So, man, I hope I'm wrong, and it will be possible to for a revival with a big player base, but I don't see it happening in a near future.
Right.
You know.
I think you're right, and I think the key to getting it to kick off would actually be in the player base that exists already. I think if a lot more people were streaming the gameplay and creating content around it, because I feel like the internet today, if you don't have content to show off the game, it's hard to draw in new people because there's so many games to choose from and there's so many newer FPSs. Why are they going to go back and install something? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Of course, and you know, UT was popular because you didn't have many games also to choose. Nowadays, you have games that are very polished, netcode-wise. I mean, what RX did is amazing, the ping comp. But you had that in Overwatch for years, you know. So, I mean, it's a game that is old. And even if it was a new game with like everything polished, perfect matchmaking, I don't think you would have a big player base. I mean, the player base would be bigger, but not huge, you know. But that's my opinion, and I hope I'm wrong because honestly, I would love to see it. I would love to see my son playing an Arena FPS in a few years, you know. So yeah.
Well, that's a great segue because I do want to ask about, you know, now that you're a little bit older, we're all a little bit older playing this game. What's your gaming balance like now? Do you get a chance to play much these days?
I don't play video games. I mean, when I had my parental leave, I was like trying Switch emulators and stuff like that. So I've put Mario Kart in TV in the living room while I was making the baby sleep. But I don't really play. I mean, I played for 2 weeks UT99 a few months ago before summer, and it was very rainy. So I launched the game again, and I was playing like 3 or 4 hours a day UT99. But then I thought, I should stop because I have this thing. I cannot play casually. I either don't play or I play too many hours. You know, so
I know how that is. So, well, you had an opportunity then to play a little bit earlier this year. How did it feel? How was the competition now as compared to when you were playing before? Did it feel like the community was different?
Yeah, I didn't play many players. I played mostly Spellcaster, which is my Portuguese friend. I played a few players, but not many.
I dueled Spellcaster just yesterday.
What?
I dueled Spellcaster just yesterday or the day before.
So I was in the beginning. I lost a few maps, but then what fooled me to play more was that I wanted to beat him every time, and then I started beating him more and more and more, and I said, okay, I'm good. I'm good now. I mean, it was still very, very close, but I was being fooled by the fact that I was improving, you know. So every day I was improving, and then this becomes addictive. But I didn't play many players. I think I played besides Spellcaster, I played like Kenny and maybe 2 or 3 players, which I can't remember right now. So I can't really tell how good the community is at the moment. Sure. My only benchmark is my duels against Spellcaster, basically, which we could have like close games and eventually beating him in Codex.
I mean, even I beat him on one map, so but he beat me like 6 times in a row.
He's quite good in Codex. So.
So I guess the only remaining questions that I have for you are, given the history that you have with this game and with all of the Unreal series, what are some of the long-lasting memories that you have? Like, what are the standout moments, like clan rivalries or major matches that you will always think back on?
Yeah, so honestly, winning WCG, as I told you, and then my biggest achievement was winning the UT3 tournament in London, which was the biggest prize money ever tournament ever held for UT, which was like $40,000. I wasn't the favorite, and I came from the loser bracket, and I won 4 maps in a row. Yeah. So that was by far my biggest moment in UT that I can remember. I cried, basically. I never thought I could win that tournament. Besides that, I went to a German... Let me just drink a bit of water.
No, you're good. You go ahead.
In 2006, we went to a LAN final with TDM with my teammates from Portugal. It was a dream come true, playing on LAN, live on television. It was a channel called Giga TV. It was like a pioneer in esports, German channel. Besides that, all the tournaments, ESWC, Electronic Sports World Cup in Paris, Euro Cyber Games in Hanover, the last big tournament qualifying for Dallas. We qualified for the finals in Dallas, but we had for Quake Champions. Okay, we weren't supposed to win against that team. We won against, because in practice we always lost. It was DDK's team, and we won, and we went to Dallas and got top 4 there, and it was amazing. And honestly, for me, it was a dream come true to play among the best Quake players in the planet. For me, it was amazing sharing the stage with Rafa. My teammate was Vu. I mean, I always looked for Vu because it was the best painkiller player and CPMA player. It was really, really cool for me.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it definitely sounds to me like you've got like a true competitor's heart. Like you won. Yeah. It's all of these tournaments that are standing out for you, and obviously you deserve to be there. You know, you kept winning despite being not the favorite, and so hey, if you earned your spot, you earned your spot.
I was fooled by competition. I mean, when I started, I was very young and I started for fun, but then when things got more serious, it was the fool of getting to these competitions, meeting people there, meeting people from all over the world. WCG had players from Kazakhstan, and it was amazing. And the final part of my career was playing in QuakeCon. I mean, for me, that was a dream come true.
Yeah. So last question I'll have for you, and this is just to kind of stir the pot a little bit. Other than Portugal, which European country do you think has the highest quality players?
In UT back then, Germany was by far the best, which maybe it's not the case now. Yeah. But Germany was insane amount of good players. The WCG qualifier had 3 slots for German players. It should have had like 6 at least.
Wow.
Because they were very good. Many good TDM teams from Germany. It was, I mean, some Germans were a bit cocky, okay? But they were by far the strongest nation. Right now, I can tell because I'm not really into the community. But Germany had like this massive UT community. I think it was either for UT99 or 2K4. They were very good. Shook, MTW, Okrana, many
and here's
Team 64 AMD.
Here's your chance to trash talk a little bit. Who was overrated? Who did not live up to the hype?
I tend to talk about overrated players based on their performance on LAN. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is like you have online, now you don't have many LANs, but back then you had online cups and you had like online Euros. And then on LAN, you could spot the difference between men and boys. Because another factor is on the table. That is the nerves. That is like a camera pointing at you. That is and many people crumbled and didn't perform very well. I remember a player that was very, very good in UT3. That was Smee, and he was an insane UT2K4 TDM player and very good. But in UT3, he was very good online. But on LAN, he underperformed a lot. Nothing against him, but that happened. After that tournament, I never saw him again. Probably because he had too many nerves and he couldn't control himself. And playing online is always different. Of course, now with ping comp and stuff is different. But back then I played with 60, 70 ping online, and then on LAN it was equal for everyone. So I always performed better, fortunately. Yeah. But honestly, Smee. I mean, another great player was Majo, but he underperformed in UT3 LAN. He was doing very well online, but then in a German LAN he also did good. So I don't know. I don't have many names. I remember a few cases, but and overall, I like to hang around with every player. So I'm not a trash talker. I know that in America you trash talk.
Look, I'm not me. There are lots of people in our community who love trash talk, and I am always the one who's just like, shut up, let's just play the game. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, you look like you don't trash talk, but one thing I notice about the American community compared to Europe is that it's way more toxic overall, I think.
Bro. The bravado, it's all this American exceptionalism that gets people into this headspace where they think they deserve it.
Yeah, I think Europeans are like more polite and stuff like that. But hey, man, maybe trash talking adds emotion to the game, to the community, you know. Yeah. But I was never this kind of guy. I always tried to be friends with everyone and be chill with everyone. Yeah.
Same here. I do think, though, as this podcast series progresses and we get more interviews, eventually we're going to be bringing in some of the American players, and you'll get to know some of these characters and how.
I don't know many. I don't know many US players. I know like Fantasy, Reflex. I know Combat Carl. I was with Combat Carl with Strife, with Gimmicks from Canada. So I don't know a lot about the USA community. You know?
Yeah, I think I always tend to lump in Canada and Mexico as just like the whole North American scene, because even with old internet and bad net code, if you had players connecting with 70 ms or 80, it was playable. It was decent. You had some rough, but we had lots of community from Canada, some players from Mexico. So it'll be exciting to introduce some Europeans to the American scene.